Hey guys, what's going on? Watomarmelon back again with a February 18th market watch. As always, clicking the eBay link in the description helps me out tremendously. And I actually just submitted an application for a TCG player affiliate link. And so any support you guys show on this channel or my main channel is greatly appreciated, especially right now, because I think a TCG player affiliate link would be it would make a lot of sense for this channel. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start off with Magicians of Bonds and Unity, quarter century secret rare out of Phantom Nightmare. This is an interesting card, and it is the third installment in the Magicians of Bond and Unity set. So this one has the red background. I think the last one will have a blue background, but we'll have to end up seeing. So as you can see, this card is it's holding on to some value that some of the previous versions did not hold on to. So the lowest listing is currently $54 for Near Mint First Edition. And if we look up Magicians of Bonds in TCG Player, we can see that some of the older versions, specifically the Age of Overlord version, sorry I didn't have this pulled up, is starting to run very, very low on listings and has shot up in price. Additionally, the older version is actually doing quite well. Some of the listings are coming off the market as people are picking these things up. Now that I think it's getting close to having all four of them out, people are recognizing that it will be somewhat difficult to complete the set. And for something like Magicians of Bonds and Unity out of Age of Overlord, which is a super expensive set, this is pulled in, I think you get one quarter century secret rare in every 3 boxes or so 4 per case, and then there are 25 in each set. So, sorry to do some quick maths, but that's going to take you about 6 cases to get a single Magicians of Bonds and Unity. So, or not 6 cases, 6 cases. So, this is all to say that this is a difficult card to get, and with such low supply, I'm not surprised that it's going up in price. And these are a very interesting collectible. Of all the modern cards they've been releasing, this is one of the ones that I like the best. Next up, we're going to be looking at Secret Pharaohs rares at a Magnificent Mavens, and then there's some King's Court as well. We're sorting it by best selling. You can see that some of those God cards out at King's Court are doing quite well, with the exception of Slifer for some reason, probably because it's the most expensive. I don't think that the King's Court ones look that great. They had such an interesting release, and so I want them to do well, but realistically, I don't think they're that great. I know some people do like how these Magnificent Mavens Secret Pharaohs rares look, but I'm not a huge fan of them. I just think it's too gimmicky, if you will. And if you look at something like Change of Heart, which had a Secret Pharaohs rares, you can see how many listings there are of this. Compare it to any of the other Magnificent Mavens Secret Pharaohs rares, and you can see that it has way, way more listings. There's not a single one that has more than it, and the next highest is Gravekeeper's Trap at 39 listings. So there are just a ton of listings of it, even though it's one of the best selling. And you can see how there's a pretty large discrepancy between the market price and the lowest listing. This thing's just going down. And the reality is that, there was a rarity collection where it had a bunch of new, pretty interesting and great looking rarities, and this sort of gimmicky rarity, I hate to call it that, but it kind of feels like that, is falling out significantly. I think a lot of people would prefer a quarter century secret rare over the Secret Pharaohs rare. And also, this quarter century secret rare is much cheaper. I think it's like a $20 card, $30 card. And so at $52, it just struggles to hold on to value. The point being that for a lot of these things, like Mirror Force, for example, if this is printed in Rarity Collection 2, this is just going to lose all of its value. And even some things like Dark Magician Girl, you're just sort of waiting for, a quarter century secret rare printing of the card for it to just tank the value, a collector rare printing of the card for it to tank the value. And so I'm not a huge fan of some of these things, with the exception being Seal of Orichalco's Gold Sarcophagus and True Name. I think all of those, and to a lesser extent, Necro Valley, I think all of those really fit the, Pharaoh's rare meaning quite well. Millenniumized Restrict isn't too bad, but I think there isn't as much space for you to see the hieroglyphs, where on these ones, you can really see the hieroglyphs, and I think it looks, reasonably good. And so those ones I understand more, but, something like Toon's Kingdom, there's an ultimate rare. Why would you pick up the Secret Pharaohs rare? It's just kind of gimmicky. That's my take on that. Honest Collector Rare, this is one I'm always looking at, but you can see that it was going down, 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 and it was bought out. And, I said that I was going to wait for it to hit 20 before I picked one up. I was actively looking for people on like Reddit and such to sell it to me for 20, and I just could not find someone. It's really hard to get these collector rares. This is something that people don't understand, is that getting any specific collector rare is quite difficult, and a lot of people just aren't selling them. And now you can see that people are buying them out. Yesterday, someone bought essentially a playset of these things. People are really, really picking this stuff up, and there was a huge buyout on the 22nd. There's just not a lot of stuff on the market, and you can see that it's holding at around $31, but there aren't a ton of listings, and so we'll see where Honest ends up. Hopefully it goes back to 20, and I can pick up my Honest, because I will pick it up at some point. Next up, we have the pot collection. This is one that's doing quite well. I just think that supply is a lot lower than what some people were expecting, including myself. You can see that basically every pot card is doing quite well, and some of them are very, very low on listings. I'm a bit surprised by how well some of these are doing. It's like, do people not realize that there are, quarter century secret rares, prismatic collector rares, prismatic ultimate rare versions of most of these cards? I don't know why the, prismatic ultra rare is holding such value, but it is. And the quarter century secret rare Pot of Greed, the lowest listing is down $93, only 15 listings. Seems like there aren't a lot of these things to go around. It's something where I'm not desperate to pick it up. I think there's an awesome ultimate rare of Pot of Greed, and so I'm not, in any rush to pick this thing up, but I don't think it's a bad pickup. I don't think it's as rare or as easy to get as some people might think. I think that while it is a promo and there are a ton of these printed is not necessarily the same as a ton of these printed in some sort of specialty set like Ghosts from the Past. Speaking of Ghosts from the Past, we're going to be looking at Ghosts from the Past 2. And this is, a set that was printed into the ground. And so we're looking at price high to low. If we look at what's best selling, you can see that some of the ones at the top are Dark Magician Girl, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Cyber Dragon, some of the other Ghost rares. Some of them have gone up quite significantly. If we look at Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, market price is at $47.50. You can see there's a lightly played at $39. But if you want a near mint, it's around $46. This one has gone up significantly, and you can see the trend there. If we look at the yearly trend, came down and then it's shot right up. I think that there aren't many competing printings. This isn't a good candidate for something like Rarity Collection, where they tend to print more modern and playable cards. So I think people are willing to put their money into a Ghost Rare like Blue Eyes Ultimate. I think that Ghosts from the Past 2 Ghost Rares are hated on way too much. I don't think they're as bad as people make them out to be. And so I can personally see why people are chasing after something like this, that they're not expecting another high rarity modern reprint, didn't have sort of a vintage printing that was super high rarity. And so I like this one quite a bit. Next up, we're looking at generally all Ghost Rares, and we're sorting by best selling, so you can see which ones are selling the most. Obviously best selling. Rainbow Dragon, surprisingly. This is one that surprises me quite a bit, but it's one that I think is one of the most deserving cards of collectors. It's something that I've never understood why it was, I don't know if slept on is a proper characterization, but it's one that people haven't chased after in the same way that they've gone after things like Stardust Dragon and Black Rose Dragon and things like that. And those are beautiful, beautiful cards, but Rainbow Dragon is the original print of the Ghost Rare in both the TCG and the OCG. And it's a beautiful one at that. And so I'm a huge fan of Rainbow Dragon. It's also just a cool looking artwork. So I don't know. I'm a bit surprised that it hasn't received its flowers, but I'm happy to see that people are picking it up. Ghost Rare Honest, Ken, if you've seen my collection video, shameless plug, check out the description and the pinned comment. You'll see my newest updated binder collection. It has, Rainbow Dragon, Honest, and Cyber Dragon, coincidentally. I have all three in there. But Honest is another beautiful, beautiful Ghost Rare out of Light of Destruction. And, to me, it's no surprise people are picking it up. Lowest listing is $70. That feels actually higher than it was. Market price is $104. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing's actually going up. Let's just look at the unlimited here, because we'd expect more sales. Nope, I am completely wrong. albeit, I'm completely wrong. All right. I stand corrected. But it's interesting to see that people are picking it up. I think it's a beautiful card. And, I'm chasing after the collector rare. I think the ghost rare is the best printing for sure. You can see some of the other, the classic 5D stuff. Those are always nice. Dark Magician continues to really go down. Not surprising to me. I don't see where the value ever was in that card. At, the prices it was holding at. It was, $750 at one point, which to me was absurd. Next up, we've got a kind of niche card, Archfiend Black Skull Dragon Ultimate Rare. I think this thing is insane. I think this is a beautiful, beautiful card. It's not super expensive. You can see people have been picking them up for $17. It's not something that I think there's any buyout surrounding. Funnily enough, there's someone selling a bunch of Italian copies. He has 24 of them. Beautiful, beautiful printing in that Euro. I'm actually thinking of picking one of these up. But because there are 24 of them, I don't really feel any pressure. Moving on to another foreign card, we're actually looking at eBay. I always said I wanted to do a collector's market watch, and so looking at eBay again is an important part. We've got Ultimate Rare Cyber Dragon, first edition German copy, so this is a Euro print. Hard to grade these Euro prints, so I'm a bit surprised that it was under 1,000, but at the same point in time, or at the same, I guess Euro never is going to hold the same value as English. It's just not considered to be the premium rarity or premium language for the TCG, in the same way that something like Chinese or Korean will never hold the same premium as the true Japanese OCG. I just don't think that people view some of these languages that are lesser played as being the sort of creme de la creme. And we're seeing that here with a much lower price. It's still a beautiful card. The art looks the same. The only thing that's different is the text. And so, if you're just looking for a nice Euro print copy, this is a really, really nice option for you. Here we now have a Euro print, but English. This is Cyber End Dragon, which is much harder to pull than the Cyber Dragon out of Cybernetic Revolution. These ultra cards that were also printed in ultra rare and ultimate rare are very, very hard to get. They're usually I think 2 per case, 1 per case, something crazy. And so, there aren't a lot of them out there. You're seeing an 8.5 go for $1,100. Now, being a Euro print, that makes it a little bit more valuable, but I always am surprised by how much these things go for. This seems like a bit high, but, it is what it is. Next up, we've got a PSA 10 Dark Arm Dragon, Ultimate Rare. Beautiful card. This one went for $880. Really cool looking one. I don't know where I'm at with a lot of these like Turbo Pack, Astral Pack ultis. I think they're really, really cool. I like them a lot, but some of them haven't received as much love as others. A lot of these sort of mid-era Ultimate Rares, from, let's say, 2008 to 2015, they're not as noticed, but, Dark Arm Dragon is a very, very incredible card. I don't view this as being on the same level as the Phantom Darkness first edition secret, but still very, very interesting. This is one that I think is overpriced. GBI Slifer the Sky Dragon for $250, PSA 9. I mean, it's a beautiful card. Maybe they're cracking it because it looks very clean for their binder, but I think that's a little overpriced. Next up, we've got some random raw auctions. Sassy Otto, I don't agree with his condition assessments most of the time. Often his near mint is more like a VLP, in my opinion. But, he's selling some of these Neospatians. This is really, really, I love the Neospatians. I'm a GX guy at heart, and so Neospatians really, pull some strings in my heart because I love these things. So Neospatian Grand Mole sold for $100, and then Air Hummingbird sold for $140. Both really, really cool ultimates, and they're both hobby ultimates. Finishing things off, we've got some Overrush rares. I mean, these things are really, really cool, and if you haven't seen one of these, they are very, very beautiful. You can see that it's kind of the full art card style that a lot of other TCGs like Pokemon have been implementing. Now, in Pokemon, I'm not a huge fan of most of the full arts, but I think that if used in moderation and in this sort of, it doesn't feel like, Rush cards don't feel like the classic Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but they still are collectible in my opinion, and so they kind of are a different flavor where I'm happy for them to do full arts. I don't want to see full arts in the actual TCG, but I think it's a fun addition in Rush Duels, and so I like them here, and this is a beautiful card. We also have the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Again, it pops so well. It looks incredible. This one's much more expensive. They're retailing for around $200. And then finally, we're going to look at Black Dragon Skull Archfiend. Again, look at how that card pops out of the card, basically. The card art pops out of the card. It looks crazy. And this one's only $12. And so if you just look up Overrush on eBay, always use that affiliate link, as always. But if you just look up Overrush, you can see a bunch of these things, and a lot of them aren't very expensive. I mean, this is $12, and this is definitely not the most expensive. So if you want to check some out, they're not too expensive to get your hands on one of them to see whether you like it or not. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. It's been your boy Watomarmelon. Check out the affiliate links, check out my collection video, and peace out.